Hi, welcome or welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do a recap, review, and ranking of Agatha All Along characters. Hopefully this ends up better than the last time because y'all dragged me up in the comments about how I did the people of Dead Boy Detectives wrong. Child, hopefully y'all don't get me on this one. I know y'all gonna have some strong feelings, child. How should I tackle this? As I go through each character, I will do like a little recap and kind of talk about like where the character went, the journey, and things that I found out and watching other reactions and breakdowns. And then I'll rank them and we'll do that character by character. I like that. I'm gonna do that. Just want to say before I start, I'm sure that I will miss a whole bunch of stuff. And that's okay. Like, definitely tell me in the comments. I like reading y'all comments about like things that you guys have noticed that maybe that I didn't pick up on. So go ahead and do that. I really enjoy that. Oh, I forgot to mention, these are not like game tier rankings. These are more like someone went in, renamed them and kind of did it this way. This character carries the show. Best. Okie, as in like okie dokie. Bearable, as in you don't really care that they're there, but you wouldn't mind that they were gone. And then worst, as in you caca poo poo. You hate it. I think we should start. Okay, let's see. Agatha Harkness. Or I'm gonna start calling her Gagatha because the way that anyway, we'll get there. I mean, I liked her when she was in WandaVision. I think that it was a really, really good portrayal of Agatha Harkness because I'm a little bit familiar with her. I read a lot of the Scarlet Witch comics, so I'm sort of quasi acquainted with Agatha. So when she showed up in WandaVision as Agnes, I immediately was like, that's Agatha Harkness, and something's going on, something's fishy. That reveal wasn't huge for me, but it was still fun. You know, it was still kind of a fun ride to go on. Now, a lot of people were talking about her sort of time that she had with her son, Nicholas Scratch, and there's this theory going around that she had 6 years with him because she was going around and killing witches, distracting death with bodies, so she wouldn't take Nicholas. I don't know how true that is, but when the one day that they didn't show her killing witches, death came for Nicholas. That's a very compelling argument too. And I just really like her backstory. Her backstory out of like everybody's was the most interesting because like she's genuinely a villain. Like she's like, no one made me kill witches. I just want the power. I think, no shade, but I think a lot of the Disney villains, like, you know how they do like Maleficent and stuff like that. I think they can take a page out of Agatha's notebook because it's a really compelling villain character because sure, she has emotions and she cares about things, but she's still also just a villain. I think that's so interesting. And like, she lets people believe what they want to believe about her because she truly does not care. She's like, I don't care. Like, I don't owe this explanation to them and we're not friends. So like, if they think that I traded my son for the Darkhold, go ahead, child. Agatha Harkness is a really cunty character. I think she's often telling the truth. Like we've seen with her telling Billy Maximoff, you know, episode 2, the road doesn't exist. Like she's constantly telling the truth. But I think because of her history, no one believes her. But she's not trying to correct nobody either, which I think is really fun. And then the question remains though, right? Like if she didn't actually trade her son for the Darkhold, how did she come by the Darkhold? I think that she went looking for the Darkhold to possibly revive Nicholas Scratch after death took him. You know, I think that that's probably what happened because you don't necessarily, I'm pretty sure somebody already had it. Hopefully we find out. I don't think it's that important to know where she got it from because I don't think it matters really anymore, but it would be still interesting and cool to see how she came by the Darkhold. I also read, I think it was on Reddit, somebody was saying when Agatha was telling Nikki in the forest, like she was like, I cannot grow food, I cannot heal you, I cannot protect you from what's coming, nor can I divine when she will return. Each line is like talking about someone in a potential coven that could have like done it for her. She can't grow food, that's Green Witch. She cannot heal, that's potions. She cannot protect you, Protection Witch. And she cannot divine when death will come back, divination. So she's always needed a coven. That's so good. So whoever, the person who caught that, hats off because you were really paying attention. What else was recontextualized by finding out about Gagatha? Lilia or Alice asked her, like, when she traveled the road before, how many people like survived? She said just 2. And I think she meant that it was just her and her son walking the road. Like it was just the two of them. She's never lied, babe. That's crazy. Ooh, one thing that I noticed that I don't know that I've seen anybody else talk about is, you know, that bell that she chimes to start the Battle of the Witches Road in episode 2 with all the girlies in the basement. That's the bell that Nicholas Scratch stole from those witches in the flashback. It's just like all this stuff comes back up. God, they really had to plan this show. This is what I talk about when I say this is the future of Marvel, if they want it to be. Like talented writers telling great stories. Give us more stuff like this, where the girls are they're clocking in and they're typing. Like, give us more of this, where the girlies are showing up to work and stuff's getting done. Where we gonna rank Miss Agatha? I think Agatha Harkness carries the show. Also, I like how she was just making stuff up as it went along. She's like, oh, the road will test us. A trial per skill, fully inceptioning into Billy's head each of the trials and everything. Like, she fully was just making it up as she went along. That's this character. Give Kathryn Hahn all her things. Give Jack Schaefer all her things. Give the production designer all their things. Give everybody who worked on the show every award. Like, this is truly what I personally want these Marvel television shows to be. Interesting, well written. And if they're gay, I ain't gonna say no to that. Teen William Kaplan / Billy Maximoff. First of all, gay.
I love gay people.
So let's just get that out of the way. But also, Joe Locke brings something interesting to this character. You can visually sense when William Kaplan is gone and when Billy Maximoff enters. Like, William Kaplan is just a teenage child kind of just doing his thing. He's like, really, he feels embedded in the world. But when Billy comes in, Joe is playing something different. He's lost, he's confused. And even like later down the road, as he's with his boyfriend, it's just something's different. Like, it's a different person altogether. You can tell just the little details and stuff, I think, is really interesting. Okay, so when he was freaking out after he realized he was the one who made the road, he was like, oh, I killed all these witches. Not technically true. Hear me out. So he definitely created, unknowingly, a pocket universe in which these witches did die, but they weren't necessarily at his hand, right? Because Agatha said she killed Atlas, right? Lilia, that was her choice. And then Sharon was kind of overlooked by all the witches, right? Because they didn't work together. So like, he technically didn't kill anybody. He definitely created a pocket universe in which they died in the trials, but like, not really by his hand. I know that's controversial, but he didn't really kill any witches. It was really interesting to realize that he held the soul of Tommy within him. He snatched his brother when the hex was unfolding and dipped. Tommy was there the entire time, and he just had to find a body for him. I think that was interesting. I think that also makes Billy really crazy powerful. And I know he becomes like what is it called? The demiurge, I believe, where it's like this all-knowing, all-powerful cosmic entity that he becomes in the comics. So maybe that's just a precursor to that. I don't know if they'll do that, because that would make him too OP. He would be too OP in every situation. I think he could potentially be a little bit more powerful, or at the same level as the Scarlet Witch, because of all he did without even knowing it. That takes a lot of power. That's crazy. I know people were mentioning the specific scene after Agatha died and Death dismissed Billy, and he got in his Subaru with his new comic accurate costume and drove away. They were like, you just flew in 5 minutes ago and now you're driving away. And I giggled at that too, but then I thought about it and I said, no, that like tracks. I think that brings him more down to earth, because he's still like a teenager. Like, he has to get his car home. He has a curfew. He goes home and his parents are like, where have you been? It's been 24 hours. Like, he's still a teen. It's almost like a lot of the Kamala Khan and the Miss Marvel show. Yeah, she's like this superhuman that defeated, these entities, but like her parents are like, okay, but did you do your homework? Like, it's very that it's giving that, and that was a very interesting way to show that. I think I noticed when I was like watching reactions, I was like, oh yeah, because I guess he's like a child that experienced all of this stuff that he kind of created. Like, that's actually so heavy if you really recontextualize it that way. I heard that they're actually developing a Wiccan series, and then one of you pointed out in the comments that this is a part of a trilogy, the Scarlet Witch trilogy story, where the first one was WandaVision. The second one is this one, Agatha All Along. And the third one will be Vision Quest. I'm sure that's true. I'm sure that'll be like where Tommy comes in at some point. I will watch it because at this point, I'm like hooked in with this like storyline. So I want to see where this goes. And now they're talking about doing a Scarlet Witch movie where Jack Schaefer is going to pin the script. Thank God. Stop letting other people write that. She is clearly the only person who's made it clear that she understands Wanda. Like, let's give it to her. Don't let nobody else do it. And if she can't do it, don't do it. That's my opinion. So Billy, where does Billy go? Billy can go Beth, because Billy did not carry the show, in my opinion. He was a great foil to Agatha, and also when they were gathering people for the road, he was like the comedic kind of like side kind of piece to the scene. And then he obviously rose to the top on the last 3 episodes. But Agatha has a spot of carrying the show. Sorry, Billy. Alice Wu Gulliver. Her story was tragic. She had this crazy, awful life because of this generational curse where like she was constantly fired from a job. Things were probably going wrong. Like, I get her reticence to even acknowledge witchcraft. I get it, because mom was obsessed with it. I could see her growing up kind of not with the really motherly love or like attention, because her mom was like constantly talking about, oh, gotta do this, gotta keep you safe. I can get like how the mom probably spent most of that time trying to protect her and knew it was probably like powerless to. And that's why I think episode 4 was retroactively sort of heightened by the finale, because I think as far as the witch's ballad is concerned, Lorna Wu, her mom, Alice Wu's mom, was super attached to that ballad, right? Being like, I need to open the road to find a way to stop this generational curse, but I'm going to put this protection song on this spell to keep my daughter safe during, right? Even in episode 3, where Alice is having her hallucination of her mom obviously screams, I don't know how to protect you. My theory, I'm thinking that at some point Lorna Wu probably realized the witch's road wasn't real, so she created that song and weaved the protection spell in it, because at the end of the day, it's kind of like the ballad of the witch's road is just sort of like a loving song from a mother who was powerless to protect their child. Like, Agatha and Alice Wu were both mothers who like lovingly had some connection to that song, who could not protect their children. This show is incredibly layered. Justice for Alice, that was actually so heavy, right? The fact that Death was like, no, that's it. Like, you are a protection witch. You died protecting somebody. It's time to go. And I think that not only showed us that death is the absolute, but I think it also just kind of showed us, the viewer, that like, if these people die, they gone. They're not coming back. Like, that was cementing like, hey, whoever's dead, they are dead. Deaths of characters are huge. You really undo all of the power and the just heaviness and like important sort of like send-offs when you like bring a character back to life. So I like the permanent death kind of thing that's happening. But Alice Wu Gulliver, gone but not forgotten. But I'm gonna put her in best as well, because she overcame her generational curse. I like the ballad. If I can't hold you, remember what I told you. Love that. Love that, love that, love that, love that. And that performance just felt so grand. I was like, yeah, give it to me, but sing Alice. Sing that demon away. Jennifer Kell. Jen, I think, was way more powerful than she gave herself credit for. Not only did she immediately save them from poisoning, she also like healed Teen when he was like stabbed. Like, she got through the road on knowledge alone. She was a, what did she say, 11th generation root worker and midwife. So she was healing for centuries, right? And her being bound, I guess, taught her to turn away from her coven members. But like, she needed to learn to lean on her sisters and to actually care, right? That is what I think her big takeaway was, is that like, oh no, baby, you're powerful because knowledge is power. Power is power as well, but knowledge is power, babe. And like, If you know your shit and you know that you're that girl, you'll be fine. You know, like unbinding herself, right? She just had to learn to take her power back. Her character development was very interesting too, right? She goes from pushing witches out of the way to escape. I believe that was episode 3 after the Big Little Lies poison by wine trial. She pushed it right out of the way to go, right? She ran down the witch's road first. So she was all first up at the beginning. And then like after, you know, her and Lilia had a heart to heart and she said, please come because you're my sister in the craft. She's like, you know what, you're right. That's actually, we've been through all this together. Let me readjust. And I love a reframe. I love when the girlies kind of go, actually, you're right. Let me get some act right. Because her trial was first, we couldn't really get the Lilia moment of all the culmination of things. We kind of had to have her have a big aha and then slowly over the course of the episode, more and more stuff, which I really enjoyed because it gives us something compelling to look at. And we saw that culmination when they're leaving the divination room and she tells Lilia, I'm not leaving before you. Big. Love that. And it was like very if you blink you'll miss it type vibe of like if you weren't paying attention to Jin's whole vibe, then you're not gonna like, obviously you're not gonna clock that, but I immediately did because it was so loud, you know what I mean? It was like, oh, she's not freaking out and kind of like, you know, whatever. Love that. So for me, Jin will also go to best. Lilia Calderu. This character, she is essentially the matriarch of the coven, right? She's been alive the longest, right? And she kind of is the eye. She's seeing. She's like, okay, I got you. That. She basically built the coven, right? Agatha and Billy went to her in episode 2. Episode 7 was her big swan song where she kind of like, she dealt with her past trauma and got it together to pass the trial and help the team. But that episode recontextualized all the other episodes. When she was screaming random stuff, she was literally jumping through time. When she was calling out tarot cards, she was jumping back to just seeing. It's just the way that they do with time, the unstuck mind aspect of it, where your mind's kind of jumping into your body at different places in time, is very, very interesting, but it's also very difficult to get right and to get it to where the viewers can understand. That writer's room is probably crazy with them planning this because they also have to plan the show too. So like the show is also something that like you have to plant stuff for the big reveal. So you can go back and watch and go, okay, cool. But then you're doing it for the episode within that show as well. It's just, some nerds were in that room. These are nerds. These are absolutely nerds. I think, and I said this in my reaction, that is the best episode of TV that I've seen in years. And I've been watching a lot of reactors because I kind of just see if they pick up on stuff that I miss or if they've, you know, seen things that I've also, you know, called out to. And a lot of them are saying, who knew that this show would be so good? And I'm like, girl, everybody, this is a like kind of continuation of WandaVision. WandaVision was that girl, of course. And the girlie that wrote WandaVision came back. Girl, come on. If they continue doing TV shows like this, where they have a writer's room and they have writers who are familiar with the source material, who are writing and they're talented, I think Marvel Television is going to be okay. I think I'm going to turn to Marvel Television and turn away from Marvel Studios films. There was not an episode that I didn't like. That's rare for a Marvel TV show. I don't think we're talking about this show enough. Our timeline was interesting because maybe one of you who understands time travel can maybe explain this, but after she sacrificed herself, she went back to, you know, young Lilia and her maestra. Like, does she live that life all over again? Like, how does that work? My God, the way my jaw dropped when I realized she was jumping through time. That's crazy. Her power is actually insane. She can jump back through her own timeline to divine stuff or to warn people about stuff. That is, if you can control that power, that would be crazy. For those reasons, Lilia Calderu, you will be going into best as well. Damn, it's just going to be a whole line of best characters. If it is, that's fine. If it is, you know, it is what it is. Rio, her reveal as Death was very interesting. Like reading up on all the stuff, because I went back and read everything. Apparently Funko Pop spoiled her character and Billy Maximoff's character. Funko Pop, come on. But Funko Pop has done this before. Marvel, could y'all tell Funko Pops to hold on and to slow down? Like, I know y'all want to sell them damn toys, but don't blow up my spot down. Funko Pop, chill out. But Rio as Death, being the cosmic entity and in love with Agatha, is very cute. They gave us 2 gay things in the show. They gave us Billy Maximoff and they gave us Agatha and Rio. That's actually so bold. I think we just need to and desperately want to see more gay representation because it's fun and it's like interesting when it's written well. But I also think we need the bad stuff too. We just need everything. I think that's important. I think we just need visibility. I just think we need more good gay shit. Because like the good gay stuff always does well. I'm just going off on so many damn tangents. This video is going to be so long. Okay, so Rio, she was conflicted over taking Nicholas because she was in love with Agatha and she knew Agatha would never forgive her. But at the end, girl, you kind of went all out to try to kill this woman. Like, she's complicated too. Because it's like, okay, you love her, but you're trying to cut her up and snatch her up and stuff. It's like, girl, what's going on? I thought you loved her, but you beating her ass. And the fact that she couldn't take Billy because it'll disrupt the natural order of things. He has to like willingly die. Was very, very an interesting loophole to get around death. And I'm assuming that's what they're going to do with the Tommy of it all. Or maybe they won't even bring death into it because after Agatha sacrificed herself, she was like, you may go, seemingly not knowing that Tommy was given a body. So for Rio Vidal, Lady Death, I'm going to put her as, ooh, y'all gonna be mad. What? Only because she was a companion character to Agatha. We didn't really get much of her history because it wasn't really about that. And that's okay. But she wasn't top tier for me. Aubrey Plaza is great. She ate that role as she does with everything. But the character, not so much, girl. Not so much. No shade. Mrs. Hart, aka Sharon Davis. Somebody has said that they knew that Agatha was playing tricks in her trial with the Ouija board because Sharon Davis would never refer to herself as Mrs. Hart. She would, because she was always correcting people. They were basically Pavlovian techniquing us so that we would catch that. But a lot of people didn't. I know I didn't. This poor woman watched, damn, she survived one hex to be killed in another. That was so bad. She's just like sweet suburban lady who like, she's like, yeah, Wanda did this, but we're trying to keep positive. You know, my husband died, but I've just been gardening. And then trusts Agatha, walks down this road, and then it's immediately killed. It's so unfortunate, but it does show how desperate Agatha was to get away from the Salem 7 and to get some power. You kind of feel sorry for her. You were like, don't kill my girl. Like, she just want to party with she just want to have gal pals. She just want to go to the party, drink a little wine, talk a little gossip, but y'all got her on this damn road with this quicksand that she almost got sucked up into, this poison wine that made her randomly hallucinate. They did her dirty. They did my girl Sharon dirty. But I was living for the jokes. I was living for like them being like Sharon Davis and Agatha being like, girl, who? Cause the entire time she was like, I just want power. I don't care about any of y'all. I'm making shit up as I go along. Sharon Davis was the best for me. She was a fish out of water type character. She was a viewer. She was kind of like the powerless woman who was kind of just like, yeah, I'll go along. Next on here is the Salem 7. I'm gonna go ahead and put them in bearable because I'm gonna be real with you. Their history in the comics is way more interesting than the show. And I get it. They needed some sort of outright antagonist villain that could rush story along, and they can like rush them, give them some sort of urgency to get this story moving along. I'm not mad at it. I enjoyed it. They kind of were just in the background slithering by. I was like creeped out when they were on screen and don't want them fucking chasing me, but pretty just like okay for me. You know what I mean? Just kind of like, okay, that's Ralph Boner. Evan Peters, we need to get him more comedic roles. I'm so sorry, but I'm sick of seeing him as serial killers and cult leaders and like people in insane asylums. Let that boy like tell a joke. Like, cause dear God, he's actually so funny. And like, I can see him being sick of playing serial killers, cause that's intense. But yeah, but getting the context and explaining kind of the gaps and the holes in between WandaVision with Ralph Bohner was very, very smart. And I really, really enjoyed it because he was able to be like, no, I was there and this is what was happening and this is what it really felt like. And side note, I was talking to friends about Wanda. She's really a villain. She really had these people trapped up in their own brains for like however long that was in that hex in Westview. That's crazy. That's crazy. But Ralph Bohner, yes, he was terrified, but he was also just being like, I was there, man, and it was like really, really scary. Like he's playing it up because even at the end he breaks and he goes, yeah, when my one-man show, like he's probably using this experience to like, you know, bolster his acting career, which I think would be very funny. Like we need a Ralph Bohner episode where we follow him. I would love that. Like you know when how they did the, what were they called? The Marvel one-shots, which are like little short vignettes in between the movies and stuff. Those are really fun. I think Ralph Bohner should get a couple of those just to tide us over until the next WandaVision universe show comes. Just something, because I love that. I love Evan Peters, and I think he's hilarious. And I really want him more in the MCU, even if he honestly comes back as a whole different character. Give us that. Love me some Evan Peters. So for that, ending the ranking, he is going to also be in best because whenever he's on screen, it's a fun time. This is my ranking. Let me know what you think. Try not to drag me too much in the damn comments, Chow, because this is my opinion. Yeah, so I think this is good. I think we're gonna go with this, locking it in. You know, Agatha All Along really felt like a TV show. It felt like a season of TV. You know, the previous shows on Disney Plus for Marvel, like Miss Marvel, you know, Loki, season 1, like a lot of that felt like a movie that they split into 9 episodes, you know, but this one felt like each episode had 3 acts that had a beginning, a middle, and end, and they fed into the next one. It really felt like just really, really good TV structure writing. Good shit. So good. And it really reminded me of a lot of how I felt while watching WandaVision. I was like locked in, watching everything, not on my phone, not like in another tab looking at something, like fully paying attention to the show, trying to catch everything. And even sometimes rewatching, like I know that, I know WandaVision dropped the first 2 episodes at the same time. So I watched them back to back, watched the reactors, and then watched them again. It you know, the watchability of WandaVision is really high, but I would say the Agatha All Along watchability factor is very high, because like you can go back and just be like, damn, she knew at this point this is what he meant. She was actually telling the truth. Like, it's very interesting. I can't say enough good things about this show. I also want to say thank you so much for the support on the series. I didn't really think that this many people were going to tune in. I got a lot of comments saying that you all were happy to see a queer person reacting to this series. Me too. It was really fun to watch this series, and you know, I hope you guys will go on the journey with me to watch more gay stuff. There's a lot of gay stuff coming, but yeah, so just let me know what you want to see. Also, it's currently season, so like I've been thinking about, and if you guys are down to watch it, I'll do it, but like I've been thinking about getting really high and watching Twilight. I know I watched it with Matthew previously and I made him watch it for the first time. I've never gotten super toasted and watched it. I think that could be fun. It'll be a super casual watching. It'll be probably the most unhinged thing you will see, but just let me know if you want to see that. I've been super busy at my 9 to 5, so I haven't had much time to edit, but those should be coming out. I did watch The Substance on Halloween, so I will be wearing a costume in that video, and it'll be super random, but I've had to cut so much out the damn movie because it's mostly blood and body stuff, but you know, hopefully YouTube doesn't snatch it down. As always, let me know what you think in the comments below, and until next time, bye bye.